What's up, what's up, what's up? Happy Thursday, we back. We live, baby. Don't forget, y'all, get up in here, get up in here. Hit that like button as soon as you get up in here, y'all. Let me go on to the YouTube page and let me share the video real quick to Facebook, y'all. How y'all doing tonight? Get up in here. Let's get up in this chat. Let's have a conversation tonight, y'all. All right, where we going? All right, let's put this over here. Hold up. Hold up. Let me put this in here. All right. Almost done. Let me tag Swizz Beatz on there. All right, we got Swizz Beatz in there. We got that there. Boom, boom, boom. We're looking good. All right. We live. We live over there. All right, great. All right, y'all. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Thursday. We back in the building. Hope everybody's doing well out there in the land of the internets. All right, tonight we're gonna have a very interesting conversation tonight. I've been thinking about this for the last few weeks, y'all. This has been on my mind crazy the last few weeks. You guys know that Versus is very, very close to my heart ever since Versus started way back in the way back when we had it on just on IG in the height of the pandemic when Versus first started out. Y'all know how I feel about the Beanie Man and Bounty Killer Versus, one of my favorite verses. That kind of changed what Versus was all about. That was the first time we saw two artists in a room at the same time, performing in the Versus, and then from there, Versus went outside, back up open into stadiums, into venues. We got the amazing Locks versus Dipset, Brandy versus Monica. We got Ashanti versus Keisha Cole. We even got Patti LaBelle versus just y'all know how I feel. I absolutely love Versus. So I've been thinking about this, and it hurts my heart to see what's going on currently with Versus. So we're gonna have a conversation today about that. I need you, as normal, as usual, y'all hit them comment section down below. Let me know how you feel about the conversation. If you're here right now, go ahead, hit that like button down below. I see Blocker Thomas in the building. Blocker says, sorry about last week. Yeah, Blocker, last week we had a little technical difficulties when we started the live. Something was wrong with the live, so we had to cut it real quick, come back on real quick. So we cut that one, and we came back on like a minute later. So yeah, the technical difficulties happen with the internet. So tonight we're going to have a conversation about Swizz Beatz, Timbaland, and Versus. Where does Versus stand right now? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Let me put this picture up here. Okay? Tonight we're going to talk about, was Swizz Beatz and Timbaland wrong to sell Versus over to Thriller? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Were they wrong to sell Versus? We all know how, if you follow Versus, you all know how popular Versus became once Versus went outside. Once the world started to open back up, the USA started to open back up, and Versus started doing shows in different venues. They were selling out tickets. Instagram was popping. Facebook was popping. YouTube was popping. Like, look, the views that Versus was getting was out of this world. So we all saw the trajectory of Versus. Versus was only getting better and better and better week after week after week after week. So today, we're going to be asking you guys today, was Swizz Beatz and Timbaland wrong for selling Versus? Hit the comment section down below. Let me know how you feel. Do you think Swizz and Timbaland should have sold Versus? Or do you think, yes, they were right to go ahead and sell Versus? All right? So, see what's going on there. I see Blocker in the building. Blocker has a comment. Blocker says, I'm going to begin to create my own versus schedule because right now I feel like Swizz Beatz and Timbaland are slacking off with the versus schedule. That is a good point too. We haven't seen anything really from versus, I think, since the last versus where they did the I think it was like the DJ, the Spanish version versus. They did some kind of DJ thing. That was the last we saw of versus. And usually we would get upcoming news of what's coming next. We probably get a schedule of what's coming for the year. So versus have been very quiet lately. And again, we should all know why versus is being quiet right now is because right now there is some sort of lawsuit going on with versus. Let me put it up here on the screen. So those that are not in knowing could get to understand some of the things that's going on with versus. So right now, I see Big Shug in the building. Big Shug, thanks for coming through. Tonight we asking everybody to comment in the comment section. Do you think Swizz Beatz and Timbaland was wrong to sell versus to Thriller? Hit the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel about that. So Swizz Beatz and Timbaland are saying that the $28 million that they sold versus for, they have not gotten back. They have not got that money from Thriller. I believe they said they've only received about $10 million or so from what Thriller is supposed to pay them. So Swizz Beatz and Timbaland sold versus for over $28 million. All right. So we all remember all the amazing things that Versus did, getting us through the pandemic. I mean, I watched Versus every time it came on. Versus was just there for me. So I'm going to throw up something on the screen here for you guys. Give me a second here. All right, so this is one of the verses here. So, like I said before, Versus was only getting better. Versus was only growing. Each and every verses that we got was just getting better and better and better. The views were just going up and up and up. The shows were getting better. Everybody still talks about that Locks versus Dipset battle. So Versus was only going up and up and up. So this was some of the results from the Brandy versus Monica. The Brandy versus Monica versus. Okay? Hold on a second. Let me pull that up. Let me pull up the Brandy versus Monica here. So, the Brandy versus Monica versus concurrent viewers. So, these are the viewers that they had all at the same time. So, they had 1.2 million viewers. Total views they did for the Brandy versus Monica was over 4 million views. In stream, the likes, they had over 100 million in stream likes. Tweets, they had over 1 million tweets. Globally, they had almost 2 million tweets globally. So again, was Swizz Beatz and Timbaland wrong to sell something that is putting up numbers? Look at the number. Look at the numbers that Versus was putting up. And that was the Brandy versus Monica versus. Let me give you guys another example. This was another one. This was another one of my favorite verses. This was the Ashanti versus Keisha Cole, and we all know that it started kind of late. This was one of those verses where it started about an hour late, and Ashanti was sitting on stage waiting for Keisha Cole to get her wardrobe together. So this is one of those verses that made a lot of angry people out there. I see Big Shug got a comment. Big Shug said, "Blocker, what up? Thanks for coming through, Big Shug. Thanks for coming through, Blocker." So this is the Ashanti versus Keisha Cole versus numbers. So concurrent viewers, they had 1.2 million viewers. 1.2 million concurrent viewers. Total views, they had over 6 million total views. In-stream likes, they had over 123 million in-stream likes. And total unofficial YouTube, Facebook viewers, they had another 500,000. So on Facebook and YouTube, they had an extra 500,000 viewers there. And if you look at the impressions from the tweets, you have over 4.5 billion views for there. Is Timbaland and Swizz Beatz wrong for selling Versus for only $28 million? I know some people think $28 million is a lot of money, but something like this that's putting up these kind of numbers, what do you guys think? Hit the comment section down below. Let me give you guys another slide, another one of my favorite verses. This is one of those verses where when it was announced, I really didn't believe it was going to happen. I got to be honest with you guys. When this verses got announced, I was like, nah, they're not going to do this. They got beef. They're not going to go on the same stage and perform together. But it happened. It did happen. Gucci Mane versus Jeezy. Y'all remember that verses? Gucci came out with this song opening the verses. Jeezy was like, nah, I'm not going to play that game. Jeezy, stick to the script. At the end of the night, they actually performed the song that they had together called So Icy. Crowd went crazy, and it was a successful versus. So the Jeezy versus Gucci Mane versus, it did 1.8, almost 2 million concurrent viewers. Total views, they had over 5.5 million total views. In-stream likes, they had over 126 million, 126, almost 127 million. And unofficial, this is YouTube and Facebook, they did 1.3. The last one did 500,000. This one did 1.3 million YouTube and Facebook views. We asking you guys today, was Timbaland and Swizz Beatz wrong for selling verses? I'm gonna put up the post again just to remind you guys. Swizz Beatz and Timbaland, they're suing Thriller for not paying, not following through with the deal. The deal was for 28 million. I think they said they only received one payment of 10 million. So they're suing Thriller now for not following through. I see Blocker has a comment. Blocker says, yeah, Keisha Cole was tremendously disrespecting Ashanti in the Versus venue. So yeah, I really did enjoy that Versus when it did air, but Keisha Cole was very, very, very late for that Versus. And if you remember the Versus, Ashanti was sitting up on her chair waiting for Keisha Cole to come on for over about 45 to 50 minutes. And yeah, I see Sarah's in the building. Sarah, thanks for coming through. Oh man, I gotta call you. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna have a chat about that conversation we talked about earlier, Sarah. Thanks for coming through. Today we asking everyone, is Swizz Beatz and Timbaland wrong for selling verses? One of the reasons I'm asking this is because Swizz Beatz and Timbaland, I don't think they're hurting for money. No. I get it. Money is money, right? You don't want to count anybody's money. You don't want to get in anybody's business about what kind of money they have, what kind of money they're making. But when you think about Versus, the numbers I just showed you guys, the kind of numbers that Versus is putting up, And Versus is not just a US thing. Versus is all over, it's global. Everybody over the globe has Instagram. Everybody has access to Facebook. Everybody has access to YouTube. So, and now, you know, with all these other streaming platforms, you have access. You have something like Versus, everyone's going to have access. So it really means the performances you put on, that might determine how many people are going to view your product, how your product is going to grow. And like I showed y'all, Versus has been growing month after month after month, year after year, performance after performance. And if you look at the list of the people that's done Versus before, there's a whole list of other people that have not did Versus yet that is still waiting to do Versus. I know Blocker's boy, Busta Rhymes, he still wants to do a Versus. I just seen Usher talking, he might want to do a Versus. They're still asking for Nas to do a Versus. They're asking Public Enemy to do a Versus. They're asking Lil Kim to do a Versus. They're still asking Missy to do a Versus. There's so many people out there. Joel Santana and Memphis Bleak was supposed to do a Versus. There are countless artists that are still have not did a Versus yet. So in theory, you can have Versus for the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5. There is no there's no limit to how many Versus you can do. So would it wrong to sell it for only 28 million? Blocker has a comment down below. Blocker said my two favorite Versus are actually 112 versus Jagged Edge. That was a good Versus. And Ja Rule versus Fat Joe. That was a good Versus as well. I gave Fat Joe the win on that Versus. Shout out to Fat Joe. So, were they wrong to sell Versus for $28 million? Up on the screen here, I have Timbaland's net worth. It could be higher, it could be lower, depending on when this information was pulled out. But let's just run with it. Let's just run with Timbaland's net worth of $85 million. So you're telling me that Timbaland's net worth is 85 million. And they sold Versus for $28 million, which they're going to have to split, right? That's just 13 million a piece, $14 million a piece. So 13 million a piece, right? And Timbaland is worth $85 million. This is what I don't understand sometimes. And enlighten me. Hit the chat. Hit the chat. Let me know how you feel about this. That 13 point something million dollars, is that really gonna, if you have Versus and you're doing Versus after Versus, year after year after year, the income that Versus is gonna bring you, wouldn't it not be more than 13 million after a couple years, 3, 4, 5 years? Timbaland's net worth is approximately 85 million. For Timbaland's net worth. Swizz Beatz net worth, 150 million. If Swizz Beatz is worth $150 million, and you have an investment like Versus that is only getting better and better and better and better, show after show. Shows are getting bigger. You're doing bigger venues. They were selling tickets for upwards for $1,000 on some of these Versus. The Versus that came to New York with Dipset and the Lox, there were tickets in there for over $1,000. They got venue tickets that they're selling. You got streaming. You're streaming it on YouTube. You're streaming it on Facebook. You have Thriller. And you sell it for $28 million? I'm asking you guys today, was it a mistake for them to sell that Versus for $28 million? Hit the comment section down below. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Don't forget, y'all, if you want to support 16 Bars, go ahead, y'all, hit the email down below. Email us. We still have some merch left. Pick up some of the merch. We have some winter merch coming soon as well. So you want to get our merch, you want to support the channel, hit up our merch. We got Fresh Boyardee Entertainment is back. Fresh Boyardee Entertainment, thanks for coming through. Fresh Boyardee Entertainment has a comment. It says, "We all knew this was some industry-ish when Swizz tried to stop Crazy and DJ Paul from doing their own verses. C's 36 Mafias own all their rights, unlike most artists." Yes, I am very confused as to why you create something like Versus. Versus is one of a kind. And I know some people, especially like 50 Cent, they said that the Versus was only bound to the pandemic. But in all reality, now that people can go back out, now it's gotten bigger. Now that Versus can go and be in venues, now they can do big shows, they can do big concerts, they can do Versus concerts. So Versus is only growing. How do you create something like this? Is lightning in a bottle, yo. This is something unique. All right? And you have tons of artists that still want to do Versus. Artists are lining up right now to do Versus. You have people all over the world that is watching Versus. You have promotion you can get with Versus. You have revenue you can get with Versus. Why would you sell it for only $28 million? When you break it down, again, half of that's $13 million, 13 point something million dollars that they're getting each. Swizz Beatz network is $150 million. And I'm not counting anybody's money. I'm not saying that's a lot, that's not a lot of money. I'm just saying someone that's network is $150 million, I would keep Versus for the next 5-10 years. See where it goes. You guys hit the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about this. Fresh Boyardee Entertainment, thank you for the comment. BC is in the building. BC, thanks for coming through. BC said, saw this coming. Yes, so I see some of y'all are saying in the comments that you guys saw this coming. Me personally, I was totally blindsided by this when I saw this news that Swizz Beatz and Timbaland was suing Thriller. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. I was like, nah. But before that, I didn't even understand why they would want to sell Versus when Versus was doing so well and doing such great numbers. So it's still mind-boggling to me. You guys hit the comment section. Let me know what you feel about this. Do you think it's a good idea for Swizz and Timbaland to sell Versus? Do you think it was a bad idea? Hit the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about that. BC, thanks for coming through. Blocker has a comment. Blocker said, no, that's not fair. Why Swizz Beatz network money is worth $150 million and Timbaland network money is worth only $85? I think their network, Blocker, that's just their network for them personally. So whatever Timbaland has done in his entertainment career, that is what he's worth. What Swizz Beatz has done in his career, that is what Swizz Beatz is worth. So everybody's not going to be networked the same. Timbaland does his producing, whatever he does, movies, whatever he shows. Swizz Beatz, his production, he has a camel riding team over in Saudi Arabia. He's doing things for different artists. So money is up in the air. So Swizz Beatz look like he's done much better than Timbaland, but they both have great networks, so we can't even complain about either of them. So again, we asking everyone, was it a good idea for Swizz and Timbaland to sell Versus over to Thriller? And now we see what's going on there. They're suing them. And me personally, I don't understand it. Versus was only getting better and better and better. I have another one here. This is the Fat Joe versus Ja Rule's numbers. Total views. Fat Joe and Ja Rule did 2.5 million views. 2.5 million. That's not counting the people that were at the venue. That's not counting the people that's at the venue. Okay, remember, you have YouTube, you have IG, you have Facebook, you have Thriller app. Impressions on Twitter, you had over 1 billion impressions. So people are actually watching, liking, and commenting. Do you think it was a good idea for Swizz Beatz and Timbaland to sell Versus? Sarah has a comment. Sarah says, great idea to sell. It reached its potential. Whoa! I'm going to get back to that. It reached its potential. I'll get back to that. Let me start this over. This is Sarah's comment. Sarah says, great idea to sell. It reached its potential. Now that quarantine is over and artists want to be compensated, it was better to get out now with a profit. Good point as well. That is a good point. Let me go through those two pieces there. So yes, during the quarantine, I don't know if they were getting paid like that during the quarantine, but during the quarantine, Versus was going at a steady up pace. And like Sarah is saying, once you build something up to a point, a lot of people sell their company. Let's not sugarcoat that. A lot of people get a company, they build the company up to what they think it wanted to be, and when it reaches a certain point, like Sarah is saying, boom, it's time for me to sell. I'm not against that. If you build something up, FUBU built up, they sold it. Sean John built up, they sold it. Rockaway, they built up, they sold. A lot of people build up companies to a point, take the money, they cash out. No problem with that. My question is the 28 million. I think that's a little bit low. I think that Versus is worth much more than 28 million. So, great point, Sarah. I want to go over the first point that Sarah said. It reached its potential. Let me think about that for a second. Because I think I've seen a lot of up and down verses. I've seen some verses do very, very, very well. And I've seen some verses do okay. But to say it's reached its potential, I don't know if Versus has reached its potential yet. I think there are still some artists out there that can push Versus to another level. I think there are some venues that Versus can do, like a stadium, that can even blow. I think artists like Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, Lil' Kim, Nicki Minaj, Nas. I think there are still some artists that if you announce a Versus for some artists, I think Versus still has a lot of notches to go up. I like the point, Sarah, but I would disagree with they reach its potential. I do agree that sometimes when something reaches a certain point, let's sell this. Let's get the money. Let's sell it. So I'm going to read that in full again. Thank you for that comment, Sarah. Sarah says, great idea to sell. It reaches potential. Now that quarantine is over and artists want to be compensated. And that's another thing too. Artists are asking to be compensated. There are some artists want a cool million, some want $500,000, some want rights. So Sarah is right about that. Some of the money that some of these artists are asking to be paid is kind of crazy. I saw Lil Flip. Lil Flip said he wanted $1 million. Lil Flip, you need to chill. I saw Mace. Mace says he wanted $1 million. Mace, you need to chill, bro. You nice? Yes. A million? Mace, pump your brakes. Artists want to be compensated. It was better to get out now with a profit. So, great comment. Thank you for that, Sarah. BC has a comment. BC says, Swizz Beatz and Timbaland promised that they'll never sell verses. That is true. BC is correct. There is a statement out there from Swizz Beatz and Timbaland saying that verses is for the people. We're never going to sell verses. This is for us. So BC is right. There is comment out there from Swizz Beatz and Timbaland saying that they will never sell verses. So let me read this again. BC, thank you for that. BC said, Swizz and Timbo promise that they'll never sell verses and that it belonged to the culture. That is correct. They said that. So as soon as they sold it, I knew it was a wrap. Yeah, I'm pretty... It kind of blew me out of the water when I saw the news that they sold verses. And then when I saw the news of them suing verses, it just made it feel even worse. Thank you for that comment, BC. Blocker says, no, it was never a great idea from the jump. Okay, all right, Blocker, all right. Sarah has another comment. Sarah says, they got what they could get. That's a good point, too. When you're selling something and you're negotiating the price of what you're selling, they may have asked for more. I don't know. They may have asked for more. And they settled on that price. I just think that me personally, I don't think $28 million is enough for verses. I see verses as something that can go on for years. Because again, there are lots of classic MCs from the 80s all the way to the 2000s, right? So there are tons of MCs we can do verses with and do a concert with. And then the more the years go on, you can start adding some artists from 2001, 2002, 2005. So, excuse me personally, I do not think that verses was worth 28. I think 28 was a low ball, if you have to ask me, for verses. Thank you for that comment, Sarah. Fresh Boy RD Entertainment has another comment. Fresh Boy RD Entertainment says, they never truly owned it. They were just figureheads. Oh. You need to elaborate some more on that, Fresh Boy RD Entertainment. You need to elaborate on that a little bit more, because from my understanding, and I could be wrong, if I'm wrong, you guys hit the comment section down below. If I'm wrong, I thought Swizz Beatz and Timbaland were the creators of verses. When they got to a certain point, they gave shares to a number of the artists. I know Ashanti, Jadakiss, Snoop, DMX. They gave those people pieces of the company. I always thought Swizz Beatz and Timbaland were the creators of verses. So Fresh Boy ID Entertainment says they never truly owned it. They were just figureheads. Give me some more information on that. Let me know if I'm about that. Thank you. Sarah has a comment. Sarah says, pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. Smart move getting out now. Yeah, again, Sarah's point is a valid point. You build something up, you feed the pig, you feed it up. When it gets fat enough, sell it up. Sell it up. You sell that's how marketing goes. You build something up to a point. Sarah has a great point. You build it up to a point and you sell it. But again, I just think that 28 million is not a lot. Swizz Beatz is worth over 150 mil. He don't care about no $13 million. Timbo worth 85 plus mil. 50 mil to Timbo? Come on. Y'all supposed to keep that. Y'all supposed to hold that for the next 10 years and watch it grow. Thank you for the comment, Sarah. Fresh Boy RD has a comment. Fresh Boy RD says, what independent artists did they showcase outside of 3-6 Mafia? I think Fresh Boy RD Entertainment, I don't think that Versus was something where they wanted to um, showcase like whether they're independent or they own their own. I think what Versus was or what Versus is a showcase of talent that some people just may not know about, or some people are nostalgic about. Okay, because if you look at Versus, most of the people that's been on Versus have had albums out early 2002 and back. I think the latest MCs that been on Versus was Nelly and Ludacris, and I believe Nelly and Ludacris came out that early 2000. So if you look at all the people that's done a Versus, everyone has been that early 2000, 90s, 80s. So I think what Versus is it showcases that era, and they're putting together those people from that era to go against each other. So most people that watch Versus are people like myself that are nostalgic to those artists. All right, and then there are some people that's never heard of some of these artists. There's some people that's never heard of Ja Rule, or probably didn't know Ashanti, or probably didn't know Fat Joe's records, or probably didn't know, well, anybody knows Snoop Dogg. But I'm just saying, I haven't seen anyone from Versus that's been like a newer artist. I don't think they're showcasing, what's it called? You said independent. I just think that they're taking old school artists, putting them together, and that is what the mold of what Versus is. But thank you for the comment, Fresh Boy the Entertainment. Sarah has another comment. Sarah says, Yeezy said he couldn't sell his gear direct to consumers, but now he is opening up shops and going direct to consumers. Gap canceled, Adidas canceled. Sarah knows firsthand that I'm not a big Kanye West fan when it comes to the person Kanye West. I love Kanye West's music, his earlier music, and I loved what he was then. I think Kanye West has turned into something that I just don't agree with anymore. He says a lot of things that he goes back on, and I think he's very focused on money and profits, and there's nothing wrong with that. You got to make money to live. If you want to put money above everything, that's how you want to live your life. That's fine. So things that Kanye West says and then turns around and does something else, it doesn't surprise me. That's just the kind of person he is. If something doesn't work, he'll say something. He says something different. So she said, Ye said he couldn't sell his gear directly to consumers, which is that it's not true. I mean, most people that open businesses, you look at today, you open a store, you could open a physical store around your way in another city. People are going to walk into your store. You want to open a store online and have a online business. Anybody can open an online business, all right? But you have to make sure you have the product that the people want, and most of the time the product has to be at a particular price for the people to come back. There is a market for high-end entertainment. Kanye West has some high-end material. His shoes are like $300-400. His slippers are over $100. His clothes are $100. Yes, he has a market for that. But you can't tell me nowadays that you can't sell your stuff directly to consumers. Just Kanye West is all over the place. Sarah, thank you for the comment. Fresh Boy out the Entertainment says, what do they have to gain besides a lot of broken promises? Yes, again, Swizz Beatz and Timbo, they did come out saying that they were going to keep Versus for the people. The Versus is for us. It's us. It's for us, for y'all. That's what they came out saying, and they did end up selling it over to Thriller. So again, I don't understand why, but I'm not surprised by a lot of things these days. That threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the news on that one did throw me off. But a lot of things that people do nowadays for money, it just does not surprise me anymore. But again, Swizz Beatz net worth $150 million. You sell Versus for $28 million. That's 13 point something $million for you and Swizz. Why sell Versus? I know Sarah said that it was the right time to sell it. I don't think it was the right time to sell. I think something like that, you hold on to it, keep building on it, build it up to something even better. I think that Versus days, the best Versus has not happened yet. There's a lot of, when the Lil Kim and Foxy Brown Versus gets announced, it's going to go crazy. When the Nas versus Jay-Z gets announced, it's going to go quick. When Busta Rhymes finally gets who he's going to go against, when Eminem does a versus, like there are so many verses that we haven't seen yet, that when they get announced, oh man. Hit the comment section down below, man. Let me know what y'all feel. Was Timbaland and Swizz Beatz wrong for selling Versus for $20 million? Sarah has another comment. Sarah says, but for the established artists. Yes, I think. If Sarah is talking about the artists established from back in the days, I think that's what they are. They're going to stick with those artists. Blocker Time has a comment. Blocker Time said, no, Ludacris came out in 1999. Okay, all right, 1999, 2001, 2002. My bad. My point was, Ludacris and Nelly, when they did their verses, I think that they were the latest. I don't think we've gone past whatever. When did Nelly come out? Let me check Nelly. Hold on. I think that's the furthest that Versus has gone. Let me go back. Let me go to Nelly's Wikipedia page here. See Nelly's first album. All right, so Nelly's Country Grammar came out in 2000. All right, so again, I don't think they've gone past like 2002 when it comes to Versus. Everybody has been 90s, 80s so far. Thank you for that, Blocker. Fresh Boyardee Entertainment says Jimmy Levine was behind Versus. Wow, that I did not know. Let me read that again from Fresh Boyardee Entertainment, and I will have to. I'm gonna check that and find out about that, if this is true or not. Fresh Boyardee Entertainment says Jimmy Levine. All right, Dr. Dre, entertainment. Jimmy Levine was behind Versus. Wow, that's news to me. I did not know that. Thank you for that, Fresh Boyardee Entertainment. I'm gonna do some research later on and look into that. That's some news. That's news to me. All right. Sarah has another comment. Sarah says, but if he didn't align with a big brand like Adidas, he would have athletes signed to his sneakers. So going mainstream positioned him. He learned the business, and now he can be successful going direct. And that's a good point too. That's a good point. He aligned himself with Adidas, which is a worldwide brand. Got his name out there. Kanye did some stuff with Nike too. So before he did the Adidas deal, he had some Yeezys. There's Nike Yeezys out there too. So yes, he aligned himself with Adidas, got his name out there. All of these athletes that's doing sneaker deals, that's true. And now he's super successful with his Yeezy brand. So again, good points. Very smart move from Kanye West. Thank you for that comment, Sarah. BC has a comment. BC says, wasn't the Diddy and Jermaine Dupri versus already announced? Yes. Puff Daddy and Jermaine Dupri did talk about doing a versus, but they did say that they're not going to do it on Thriller because Swizz Beatz and Timbaland are going through this right now. So Puff Daddy did say that they're not going to do it on Thriller unless this gets resolved. And Puff Daddy also says it's not going to be a versus, it's going to be a hit versus hit battle, whatever that means. But yes, BC, Puff Daddy did announce that they're going to do a versus, him and Jermaine Dupri. Is going to be a hit versus hit battle, but he also said that it may not be on versus because right now Swizz Beatz and Timbaland are going through that right now. Don't forget, if you're here right now, if you're here in the chat right now, hit the like button, give this video a like. If you want to support 16 Bars, don't forget, y'all, pick up some of our merch. Hit us on our email, 16barshow@gmail.com, to get some merch. Throwback Thursday video came out today. Go check that video out. We got some footage of Busta Rhymes, Leaders of the New School, and Tribe Called Quest. So go check out today's Throwback Thursday video. And we have Saturday video is coming up soon, so turn on the notifications. We got a new video coming Saturday, and we also have a new segment coming pretty soon. So you guys keep your eyes tuned to the channel. We got something new coming soon. Can't tell you what it is yet, but it's coming soon. All right. Sarah has a comment. Sarah says, Derrick Rose and other NBA folks wear his Sarah is doing a subliminal jab. Sarah is doing a subliminal jab, yo. We're gonna talk. Me and her gonna talk about that later. But Sarah says, Derrick Rose and other NBA folks wear his shoes or Sarah, thank you for the comment. I see what you did there. You're a rapper. Blocker has a comment. Blocker says, no, P. Diddy and Jermaine Dupri were never announced, but if that happens though, again, Puff Daddy did say that him and Jermaine Dupri are going to do a hit versus hit battle. They wanted to do it on versus, but because they're going through this with Thriller, they're not going to do it on the Thriller. So they said that they want to do a hit versus hit battle. I'm going to finish the comment. And Jermaine Dupri were never announced, but if that happens though, I'm going with Jermaine Dupri because he mostly produced all of Mariah Carey's albums. And I'm going with Puff Daddy because, and it cut off there. All right. Fresh Boy ID Entertainment said, that's why no Dre M or 50 Cent. Listen, y'all. 50 Cent, number one, is scared to do a versus. All right? 50 Cent does not want to do a versus and lose to anybody. So we're not going to see a 50 Cent versus. So let's stop asking for that. Dr. Dre, I think Dre's going to do a versus, y'all. I think Dre's going to do a versus. I think it'll be amazing for the culture to see Dre do a producer versus. So fingers crossed for a producer versus. And for some reason, I think Eminem may do a versus as well. So Fresh Body Entertainment is saying that that's why no Dr. Dre, Eminem, or 50 Cent. But I do think somewhere down in my heart, Dr. Dre and Eminem may do a versus within the next year coming up or so. Thanks for that. Fresh Body Entertainment also says, and Busta Rhymes. So yeah, today we're talking about, was Swizz Beatz and Timbaland wrong for selling verses? Verses was only getting better and better and better. The numbers were going up and up and up. Month after month, we looked at the verses. Verses went outside. We started seeing verses, Dipset, The Lox, one of the best verses in Madison Square Garden. Tickets were over $1,000. People are still talking about it. We had a versus with E versus, was it E versus who? Oh my God, the one when E was abroad. E versus Trina. We had an E versus Trina. E was in UK. Trina was in Miami. That versus was sold out. Trina had the venue sold out in Miami. All right? Brandy versus Monica. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Oh, let me take a look at my ticket. Hold up. Oh, I got a text. My apologies. Look at the numbers. Let me pull up that. Look at the Brandy Look at the Brandy and Monica numbers. 1.2 million viewers. 1.2 million viewers. That's what Brandy and them did. 1.2 million. All right? What? Remember that number. 1.2 million. Give me a second here. Give me a second here. Look at the Keisha Cole. Look at the Keisha Cole numbers. 1.2 million. So you're getting over 1.2 million viewers for your verses. Swizz is worth over 120 something million. Timbo's worth almost 90 million. And you sell verses for 28 million? I don't know, y'all. Blocker has a comment. Blocker says, I love both Trina and Eve, but I'm going with Eve over Trina, though. That was a good verses, though. I gave that verses to Eve. I think Eve had, I liked Eve's hits more. I was kind of upset that they weren't both in the same venue. Like I said, Eve was stuck in the UK, so she had to do it in the studio in UK, and Trina was at the venue in Miami. But Trina held her own, man. Trina did her thing. The crowd was rocking. Shout out to the ladies. So hit the like button down below. Don't forget to share the video. Fresh Boyardee Entertainment says, salute, King. Salute to you, Chef Boyardee Entertainment. Thanks for coming through. Don't forget, y'all, you want to support the channel, support our merch, pick up some of our merch. We got some new merch coming for the winter, so keep your eyes open for that. That's coming soon, too, as well. Don't forget, Throwback Thursday video. Go check that out. Saturday, we got another video dropping this Saturday. If you have new music, if you're a new artist, you want to get your music put on the channel so we can do a reaction to your music, send us an MP3 file, 16 bars show at Gmail, and we'll definitely get your music here on the channel, okay? Yep. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming through.